any risk of spreading this to other people. And this is the gold standard of what we expect of anyone who has travelled from the northern beaches and has been told to go into quarantine in Queensland. So we thank that person for that. And I remind everyone who has travelled to the Greater Sydney areas or the northern beaches that you should be getting tested and you should be quarantining as per the directions. I want to thank also all of the people who have gone out and got tested in the last 48 hours. We've had almost 25,000 tests in 48 hours. We know that it's hot in Queensland and it's uncomfortable to line up for testing, but I want to say thank you, because by doing that, you are helping keep Queensland safe. We have made sure that our hospital and health services are dealing with those surges, and we did see a reduction in waiting times for those tests yesterday. But our message is clear. Our clinics will be open over Christmas. There may be different clinics or different hours, so please go on to the Queensland COVID website if you need to go and get tested. But importantly, testing will continue over Christmas. If you wake up Christmas Day with any symptoms that are in line with COVID, we still want you to get tested, because the vaccine's not going to take a holiday on Christmas Day. We need you still to get tested and to isolate yourself until you get those results. And of course, if you're from those hotspots and you've been directed to quarantine for 14 days, we still require you to do that. So New South Wales, it's been 10 days. 10 days since they first reported positive locally acquired cases on the northern beaches. We know New South Wales now has over 100 locally acquired cases from that cluster. Queensland's also got a milestone. Today, we can report 100 days since we had a locally acquired case. 100 days. And that's because of the amazing work of all Queenslanders. We want to say thank you on this Christmas Eve for all the great work that people have been doing, our businesses, the tourism sector, our pubs, clubs, hotels, right across Queensland. It is the great work of Queenslanders working together, united, that has meant we have gone 100 days since a locally acquired case. But we cannot afford to get complacent, because with the positive sewage that we have and the fact that we have this positive case from the northern beaches, we believe that we have positive cases in Queensland. We hope every one of those positive cases are in quarantine and isolating as directed. We have now 53 close contacts from New South Wales. New South Wales are still tracing contacts since the 11th of December. So as recent as the last 24 hours, people were being contacted in Queensland and told that they have been in close contact with a positive case right back since the 11th of December. So that means we're getting very close to that 14 days, being tomorrow, that people are only just finding out now they have actually been in contact with someone who's positive and are being asked to isolate. So anyone who has been to those hotspots, again, Queensland is relying on you to quarantine. Queensland is relying on you to get tested and to make sure if you have any symptoms, you go back and you get tested again if you've already had a negative test. Because as we saw with this gentleman, his first test was negative, but he has now showed up positive at a later test. So you could have it, and that is why it is absolutely imperative that you maintain that 14 days quarantine. We are concerned about the super yacht case. What this message says is that no one is immune from this. The super yacht in question has not been very cooperative at all in relation to the information being provided to the Queensland Police Service and where they have been, so we can identify whether there is any other cases or where they may have got it from. So we will leave that for the police to deal with, but we are very disappointed that this super yacht is not cooperating and providing factual, correct information to the Queensland Police Service. So our message on this Christmas Eve is that we encourage you to get tested and stay at home if you're unwell. that if you are from a hotspot and you are in Queensland, you must continue to quarantine as directed. And we want to make sure everyone knows that there is testing available over the Christmas period. Because as much as we all want this to be over, when we wake up on the 1st of January, we will still be living with COVID. We need people to be vigilant. For our businesses who are doing it tough, for the tourism sector, again, if you are a Queenslander looking at holidaying, have a look and see if there's vacancies around Queensland. Help support our tourism sector in Queensland and go holiday there. But the most damaging thing for the tourism sector in Queensland is if we have a cluster. If we have a cluster breakout in Queensland, then that will mean significant restrictions, and that will be very damaging to the sector. So I know that the tourism sector is doing it hard right now, but it will be far worse if this case gets out into our community, and that's why we have to do what we are doing, and we'll continue to work with the tourism sector to support them and to make sure that we are encouraging people to holiday in Queensland. And of course, anywhere else in the country outside of the hotspots, you are absolutely welcome to come to Queensland. We are good to go, and we want to see you holidaying here and enjoying the Christmas break. The last thing I'd say before I hand over to Dr. Young is that we know at Christmas time everyone wants to hug. We want to be close to each other. Please, let's follow the social distancing rules. Let's make sure that we are not handshaking, that we are washing our hands and sanitising regularly. We are following all the rules that have been there since the beginning. We ask this of venues, but we ask this of citizens who are visiting Queensland and who are Queensland residents. Please help us stay safe. Let's make sure that we don't have anyone in ICUs over Christmas. We want to keep people out of our hospitals, and we want to keep people out of ICU beds because we want to keep people safe in Queensland.